What's going on? Welcome back to Breezy Acres. I'm Jonathan. It's a really nice day here in Nova Scotia today. It's getting a little above the freezing mark, and we're going to do a little bit of outdoor work today. So where I'm standing here is where we plan to put our round pen. We're going to build it right here, which is kind of beside the horse shelter. And my plan is to use the fallen timber from a hurricane we had a couple of years ago. Most of it's all just leaned over, so it should be fine to make posts out of. But I want to make those posts the cheapest way I can. So I'm going to show you the cheapest way I found, and hopefully it'll work out to make some posts out of logs. This is a log I pulled out of the forest about a month ago when we had a little bit less snow. These were some of the ones that they're pretty sure they're black spruce that fell down from the storm. And this one on the big end is about 9 inches or so, but on the small end it's only about 7. So I was hoping to get a 4x6 post, but it may end up just being a 4x4 post out of this one. Now I did at first try to do a post here freehand a little while ago without any kind of milling attachment on the chainsaw, and it turned out okay, but it's not real square. So I'll show you what I found at my local PV Mart that's going out of business, and hopefully that'll kind of square things up a little better. This is a Timber Tuff Beam cutter. It's on Amazon. You can find them in the States for like 35 bucks. I think they're about 45 on Amazon here, and they go under a bunch of different names. Timber Tuff, I think there's other ones called Beam Cutter, but they're all basically the same. So I wanted to use this, and it suggests to use a 2x4 as your guide, and so I got a piece of 2x4 here, but I find that it's like it doesn't fit very well. Like it's probably a 1/4 inch too small, and I have a feeling it's just going to move around when I'm trying to mill with it. And then I tried a different piece of like rough cut 2x4 that's like true dimensions, and that one's like a hair too big. So either the mill didn't do it right, or it's just a little bit too big. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I bought a piece of 2x6, and I'm just gonna rip that down to the exact right size, and that should hopefully keep it pretty stable. Wondering how I ripped that. I measured it and put a little clamp on here so I could just keep that tight up against the board. Much better. So I'm gonna try to do a 4x6. So we're gonna, I don't think it's gonna fit, but we'll mark it anyway. The job site inspector has arrived. Everything looking okay? One thing I wanted to mention is if you're gonna be milling with your chainsaw, they suggest closer to like a 70cc chainsaw. I'm just gonna be doing small logs here. I'm not doing any 25-inch logs or anything. So this one here is a 455, so it's a 55cc. I wouldn't go much lower than that. I have another one that's like a 40 or 45 cc, but I think I'm going to use this one. I haven't put any kind of special ripping chain on here. I'm just going to use a standard chain that comes with the chainsaw, and I sharpened it up. The instructions that came with this thing are pretty much useless. It shows basically a parts diagram, and that's it. There is no instructions on how to attach it to your chainsaw at all. Now, I'm using it just on an 18-inch bar, so it's pretty small bar. So I'm gonna move it up here as far as I can towards the actual chainsaw. It looks like the key here is to tighten them both a little bit at a time. All right. Should allow us to move up and down now. Yeah. One thing you got to do before you screw your beam on is just kind of knock down any knots in here. Just make as flat a surface as you can. When I bought this 2x4, I bought it extra long so it hangs off the end. That way the beam cutter can go right down to the end of the log without it falling off the edge. There's a little level on there as well. Near good. Okay, that looks pretty level. Alright, well, it did the job. I think it's a lot of work to get one cut. And I could see that it's going to hurt your back after a while. Well, I can see my first problem already. The other side is level, but this side is a fair bit off. So this is not going to be a square post. So I think the key is that 2x4 can't be warped on the first. It can't be twisted. And I think that's what my problem was on the first one there. So we'll see how it goes. We'll finish up the post and maybe it'll come out all right. Good enough for a fence post. mistakes were probably made during that first ever cut. It definitely did not turn out square, and it's probably even less square than the one I cut with by freehand. My verdict on the Timber Tuff beam cutter is, I think it probably has some uses. I would think it might be better if you used it with like an Alaskan chainsaw mill. You take off your top and your bottom, and you could use this to do the sides. But I don't know. You could probably get a lot better at it with a lot more practice. Am I going to do 20 posts with this thing? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna end up looking for a better solution, because for me, I have some lower back issues, and to be honest, working this low to the ground, which you kind of have to do because you're kind of using gravity to help keep the chainsaw straight as well. So you want to be over top of it. It takes a lot out on your back, and I'm gonna be pulling logs out of the forest, so I'd rather save my back for that and see if I can find some kind of better milling solution for these posts and boards I want to make, because I got tons of timber and I don't want it to go to waste, and I don't really want to buy stuff. And we have lots of projects that we're going to be doing around the farm this summer, hopefully. So I think we'll be looking at a substantially larger milling solution than the Timber Tuff beam cutter. I hope that demonstration helps you guys figure out if that's a solution you want to try on your own property, if you just want to buy one for fun and give it a whirl, because it was still kind of fun to give it a go. But unfortunately, it's not going to work for me. But anyway, we'll be talking.